Hello. So today we are going to be talking about assignment 2, rhetoric and identity. As you can see, this is a link to the webpage that you can click on and go to. And it's just some fun that I had with this assignment talking about it. For those of you that are into role-playing games, fighter games, all kinds of games, there's so many. This is kind of going to be a fun assignment for you, I think, because we're going to take role-playing versus composing, okay? So as you can see, do you consider yourself a gamer? When you think of role-playing games, what comes to mind, right? What do you think about? Do you think about composing? Because that's what you're doing. That's exactly what you're doing. So the background. So during a role-playing game, you are tasked with creating an identity in the game that you will use to play the game with, right? You have rules that you must follow within the confines of the game. The rules of the game are there to help you succeed throughout the game, and most games have a process you must follow to achieve levels and progress to the end of the game with helpful tools along the way to help you accomplish your goal. Composing is the same thing. You are tasked with taking on an identity while you are composing. You follow the confines of the assignment as they are there to help you accomplish the assignment. You use tools to help yourself accomplish the goal of composing, right? You reach out and use those resources. You use, your background knowledge to help you succeed, such as an assignment sheet or the criteria rubric. You have tools such as Purdue OWL, the Writing Center, sources that you find from the library that help you. And that's the same as like role playing. You have background knowledge to help you succeed, such as get a game manual, and you trust in others that have played, plus your experience in playing. The tools that you use are life-sustaining objects, character-building objects, etc. that are in the game, right? So role-playing versus composing, those are some of the same things. You have a character based on genre of game. You're an author based on the genre of paper, right? So you can start to see that role-playing is a lot like composing. So, to compose, for assignment 2, you must write about a multimedia project you would like to do. Okay? So you do not have to do the multimedia project yet. You are just to write about it. Okay? So think about the genre you might use to showcase your ideas and why you chose the specifics you did. Think about your audience and what rhetorical appeals and strategies you might use and why. How does thinking of yourself in a role-playing game while composing affect your choices while composing, if at all? Do you see yourself differently? And if so, how? This assignment 2, Rhetoric and Identity, will become a multimedia project for your peers in assignment 3, Remix, where your peer will get to put your perspective into your project. Their perspective into your project, okay? So I know that's a little confusing, so we're going to go into further, okay? So some ideas. Love of something and explanation about it. That could be an idea. You just have to do it multimedia, through multimedia. So how to do a presentation or something else multimodal. Argument for or against something. And as you can see, I have included an example paper. Now, I just want to give you an example of what you can do. This is so broad, you guys. You can do whatever you like. And you could do a PowerPoint. You could do, there are just so many ways in which you could handle this. You could do something on Wix. You could do something in Google. It's very broad, very broad. Take whatever you love and something that you're interested in and make it multimodal on the computer, right? I mean, that's basically what you're going to be doing. I'm going to open up the example paper, and let me see if I can, oh, it won't let me switch. Okay, well, I was going to show you, but I don't think it'll let me. Okay. I can't switch my screen while I'm recording. So I don't know if it opened onto the example paper. But if it doesn't, you guys can click on the example paper and go into it and see how this paper is written, okay? You can do something like this. Literally, this is just a paper written about it, and it has multimodal components in it, as it has diagrams, pictures, and things like that, okay? You can also see the criteria, and it lists everything that you can do. You can do a written project. It says that it must be 3.5 to 4 pages in length, MLA formatting, all the same thing, right? How and why rhetorical appeals of ethos, logos, and pathos. Now, if you compare this written project, these criteria that I have listed, to the example paper, you will see how those go hand in hand, okay? The multimodal project, now if you want to do something that is multimodal and more visual than just a written paper, this is the criteria for that. Your multimodal project must contain 875 to 1,000 words included within your multimodal project. And text citation and works cited page, title that gets your reader's attention, and on, okay? And it goes on to talk about principles of design, and those are very important, okay? Here's the link for the criteria for complete on assignment 2, and again, that takes you back over to the assignment on Wix.com. And here I list the writing project if you want to write your project, or the multimodal project. I want to touch on these principles of designs for a multimodal project. Balance is how the elements within a composition are arranged either symmetrically, asymmetrically, or radially to create the impression of equality in weight or importance. So these are all visual principles of design, right? You want your visual to look good. You don't want it to be all over the place. So having that balance and scale and contrast, you don't want to have like an orange and blue contrast of colors, right? That would make your eyes hurt. So you want to have colors that are good together, that are easier on your eye, and that's what this is about, contrast. Have you ever looked at something that makes your eyes hurt? Red and yellow are not far enough from each other on the color wheel to be distinguishable enough to the eye. So the colors conflict with each other, right? So you want to make sure that you are doing things that are appeasing to the senses, your eyes, especially when it's a visual principle of design on a multimodal project, right? Pattern is a repetition of specific visual elements, just as a single unit or multitude of forms. So you want to create balance, right? Make it look nice, okay? Movement and rhythm. If you put movement and rhythm into your multimodal project, you want to make sure that it achieves by using repeating or alternating elements or patterns, right? And how often something repeats and the intensity of its contrast creates rhythm. You want to make it appeasing, not something that's going to throw me into a seizure, right? And then emphasis. Did it get your attention, right? You want to grab your audience's attention. That's important. unity, and it talks about unity, the way elements are arranged so that the image is seen as a whole and overall, right? Okay, so those are important aspects that you want to put into this project if you decide on the multimodal project versus the written project. I wanted to give you guys the option. I don't want to overwhelm you. And I want this to be interesting. I want you to learn from it, and I want you to reach your goals. That's the point of this, right? That's why we're taking these classes. And that is my overall goal for the semester. I know I've probably said it 100 times by now, but it's just your success. So I try to make it as easy for you as possible. Okay? I don't think there's anything else. So that was the introduction to your assignment 2. And we will have plenty of time to talk about this more when I get back and we start discussing ethos, logos, and pathos. I will be back on Tuesday, September 20th, and we will talk about this a little more. I will ask tons of questions. I will make sure that you guys are feeling very easy with the project and understand it completely. And the first rough draft isn't due until Thursday, September 29th, so we have plenty of time, so don't stress about it. This is just an introduction to get you thinking about what you want to do, okay? Make sure that you are reading your readings. On Thursday, September 15th, again, we will talk about egos, logos, and pathos. Make sure you do your reading for that, because it really starts getting you thinking about these rhetorical analysis and definitions of rhetoric. All of these are so important, okay? And I will see you in the next recording and see you in a week.